Three, two, one.
Welcome to episode 151 of the Narcissistic Music Disorder.
Good morning, Brother Scott.
How are you, John?
Welcome to the church of useless knowledge and
Yeah,
conversation. How am I? I'm pretty good, man. Nothing
good.
too new and exciting. Anything you're riding musically?
I checked out a couple bands that somebody told me to check out this weekend. One I wasn't super into. Um, they were called Car Seat Headrest.
Huh. Car seat headrest?
It's think little bit moodier Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Oh boy.
I
Yeah.
wasn't into it. And then another one is a band called Geese,
Huh.
which
Hmm.
I got sent an album and it's pretty cool. I have to give it another listen, but I didn't dislike it, so
I'm still listening to a lot of Sturgill Simpson because I just kind of discovered him.
good.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's not any groundbreaking shit. I
I
mean,
went to
it's
the
not.
CD and record show yesterday.
You did? Is
Yeah.
that still as cool as it used to be?
No, it's
I
like a
didn't.
garage sale now, dude.
God, it used to be so cool. It
It
used to be
did.
so much fun too.
I got
I
a
mean,
couple Oscar Peterson records, one with Stan Getz. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's like a garage sale now. There's a lot of $2 and $3 shit. There's no like, and a lot of
super
guys just,
collectible stuff.
I think a lot of these TV shows about like selling shit have made people think what they have is gold.
Oh, sure, sure.
So
Yeah.
prices are just insane with some guys.
I started thinking, I wondered if I could flip some of my old collectible shit there.
I,
Like,
I,
my
you'd be better
Jayhawks.
off on Marketplace probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my all my Jayhawks collectibles and that I got originally from that show. So why don't you tell me what's going on today on the show, please?
Today we have our friend from Barrel Bones, Michael, the voice of Barrel Bones and guitars, Michael Constantine.
Nice. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Um, Definitely a name that's come up on the show before. A band that's come up on the show a time or two. Certainly connected. I think have we no, we still are chipping our way through members.
Yep,
Uh
just
we
Greg.
we did get Greg, so we have to keep working on that. We've threatened to get Pete a couple times. Certainly gotta get all the band members because we talk about Barrel Bones. We debuted a single, right?
Trouble, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that was
did.
fun.
Much appreciated. Yeah,
That was fun. I'm sure that
you guys,
translated.
And our shirt is in that video.
I'm sure that translated to I mean sales numbers that you could definitely
Oh, I'm
chart.
sure it
You
was
could see
ones
it.
of dollars.
It would be like, sales, NMD podcast, big spike, and then I'm sure.
Yeah.
there was a spike, but your check is still we're working on it. I mean, we may have spent those funds though. I do apologize for that because things are tight these days. Hard to make
Right.
records.
Yes, it is. I don't know how
So
anyone
no,
does it. I still marvel. I still marvel at a couple things. I always marvel at people who are making records analog, like Jack Lever and Mitch Wood. Those guys do that at Goon Lagoon a lot.
yep.
I don't know how the fuck anybody affords that. I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, and then every once in a while, and it comes. I've seen a certain artist like I don't know, man, 4 or 5 times now. 4 or 5 times. It's another cycle of crowdfunding. I got to make a new record. I
Yeah.
need $50,000 to do it. It's shit like that.
You know who does it
Yeah.
who's done it like their last 2 or 3 records is American Aquarium.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I would feel better doing it. I guess if I were touring a lot. You feel like you're giving something back that way, right?
Right.
Basically, what crowdfunding seems to be is you're just asking people to pay up front for a record that's not done yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy that fucker when it comes out anyhow, so I'll give you the money now so
And they
you
give
can
you
make it.
bundles like stickers and
Yeah.
shirts and private
Yeah.
shows if they're in your town, like shit
Yeah.
like living room shows or whatever.
And I don't hate it. I understand it. It's just when you're, when you've done it a long time, it still feels sort of weird and foreign.
You're old
Um,
school, yeah.
I think so. I'm sell shit out of your house. Have you cleared your house of all your, all the extra shit that brings you joy? If you
Yeah,
have, then
if
you
it
can
doesn't
ask
spark
me.
joy, you should sell it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is how many guitars and amps have you gone through, because you're like, shit, we got to make a record. You go through your guitars or your
Yep.
amp that's you've had since you were a kid, and you're like, well, fuck, that's got to go because I need the money to make this record or whatever. But anywho, yeah. So what are we doing with Michael today? We're doing take five, right? Or
We're
I'm
gonna
sorry, take
pick
five.
five.
Pick
So
take five.
basically, we take a walk through the record store and you pick out a rock record, a pop or power pop record, a country record, a jazz, hip hop, R&B, or blues record, and then your NMD record.
And explain the NMD record
The
again,
NMD
please.
record is your obscure, or as I tell people, just something maybe that's near and dear to you. That's doesn't even have to be obscure, but just one you
Uh,
love. But
all right.
most
Well
people
then,
go the obscure route.
so that being said, let's open up this game. Michael, as our guest today, we're gonna have you start us off with your first pick, your rock record. What did you pick?
I'm ready, Regis. Okay, one answer. I'd like to phone a friend. No, I'm just
Mhm.
kidding. I made notes because this was a long process for me. I was notified about talking about this probably a month and a half ago. So as I listened to episodes and I made my decisions, I realized I really wanted to decide on what I'm listening to now instead of going
Mhm.
backwards because
Yeah.
I go through so many cycles of things. So I've set some extra parameters, which were what do I put on in the shop or what am I working to or what am I on right now in these categories that have hit me the hardest that I keep going back to. I can branch out, whatever. So my rock pick is a band called All Them Witches out of Nashville, and they will blow your brains out every single record. So then I have this problem of picking which one of their records. And right, I think for if you've never heard of them, to start with Lightning at the Door. It's a record called Lightning at the Door. So All Them Witches are a Nashville-ish, Texas-based. I think there's a cross section between some of the members, but they're Nashville and they're a band that's been around since like 15, I think. And they
Okay.
are the drummer founded the band with one of the other members, and he is clearly the sort of the brain trust that created the concept for the band. But they are, I have am new to Spotify in the last 3 years. I loathed getting on streaming and getting music. I have been pitched, I think at least two of the picks on my list are Spotify given to me. Didn't know about them. So I'm super grateful for it now because I'm like, I never would have heard of this band ever.
Right.
Right.
It came up in my feed. They were like, if you like this, you'll
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And they played one song, which is on this record, which is called When God Comes Back. And I was like, I literally put down whatever I was working on in the shop and went over and said, what is that? And
Yep.
it's rare for me in new
I love
music to
that.
feel that way.
Yeah, I
Yeah. So
love
I
that
was
too.
like, I'm like, well, it's not possible. There's no way there's anything else good because that's usually what happens. Spotify cherry picks the one thing and you go, cool, that was cool. And then you get into the next song on the same record and you're like, nope, done.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
listening to the rest of that. Well, I just kept going and going and going, whole record, next record, record before that, record after that. And I'm like,
Wow.
but then I'm like, crap, these guys are too good. It's not fair. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
this is like, they can't be this good. I can't love them this much. So anyway, I hope you guys can have a minute to listen to them and feel the
Check
same
them
way
out.
because
Yeah.
I talk about them to everybody I can to the point ad
Nice.
nauseum. People are like, oh yeah, great. Ellen Witches again. Yeah, good. Super glad you keep talking about them. We haven't listened to them yet. It's like, well, it's your loss. Well, ironically, last year, the drummer who founded the band left the band after touring Madness
Oh,
and they're supposed to be making a new record. And I'm like, wow, I don't really know how. I'm very curious to see what happens. So
Right.
they're touring now with somebody else, and they're all over the place, and they're just their chemistry and their natural abilities musically, they're out of control. Their songwriting out of control. Their production work, I mean, it's definitely it's a new band that I can definitely say takes me into a new era of listening to rock music, which is very hopeful because
Wow.
I'm not super thrilled by most new rock bands at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. A friend of mine he said to me one night, he said, one of the greatest lines I've heard. He said, I've given myself permission not to like everything. I'm like, yeah, wow, yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah, true.
That's pretty cool and significant because
Yeah,
you do have that feeling like I know there's something, especially with music, like if you don't like a lot of new music, and I don't, no offense to new music, and I'm not seeking it out either. I mean, but that being said, I also don't like randomly cook with ingredients I've never had before either, right? I know
Yeah.
yep,
the shit I put in my meatloaf, I put in my meatloaf because I'm hungry and I want a meatloaf that's good. Music's kind of like that to some degree for me too. As I get older, it's like, yeah, man, I'm hungry. I know this is going to fill me up. I know it's going to do A, B, and C. Sometimes I can even pick songs, that are going to either enhance this experience I'm having or the mood I'm in or the way my heart's feeling. So it is exciting when you're hip to something new and it excites you. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
again, it's like that starts to fade away. I don't know why that is other than I think when you've listened to so much music too, something new comes out and you start instantly going, well, and you're like, oh, I really liked that when it was the Eagles or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
it's just it's so hard to really nobody's gonna quote unquote reinvent music. My son got pissed last week because somebody he knew was talking about moving to Nashville and exposing them to music they've never heard. And Quinn's like, yeah, man, but that's like Music City. I'm sure someone's rolled through with just a guitar and a drummer. That's been done probably. They've heard that before or
Yeah.
whatever. All right, what's your rock pick, Scott?
It is called Blood Brothers from the Dictators.
What year?
1978, probably, I think.
Is Mark Mendoza in the band?
No, not at that time. This
Not at
was
that time.
I think their last record.
Okay, so he was gone by then.
So I didn't get into those guys. I got into those guys in 2009 because of Driving and Crying's Whatever Happened to the Great American Factory
Bubble.
record. They
Yeah.
covered a song called I Stand Tall. And I was like, man, that song is awesome. And I looked it up and it was these guys, which I'd never heard of.
They're
But
New
then I
York
was
City
like,
band?
huh? New York
New
City,
York.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, Scotty Kempner was in that band. And I was a fan of the Brandos,
Hmm.
which he was in. And then he was in the Del Lords.
Wait, we got to stop a second. Benting again is referencing super obscure bands in his description of super obscure bands, which is his classic NMD trait. Scott's really good for that. Like, hey man,
which
here's
I like. Which I like.
oh man,
I think
listen,
I think for me, it's like I'm just waiting. You make a note, like I've learned. Everybody else is they're listening a lot. It's like make a note. Oh, okay. He said what about who? And that's who. Okay,
right,
and I also know who those people are either, but that's okay. But I do love that you said it came from a cover that you heard that led you to the actual band because then it
Yes.
takes you right away. That band did nod appropriately and then made you go, but wait a minute, that's so good. The reason it's good, oh, it's not your song. All right, good deal. I'm just going to move backwards to the root cause of the my liking of this
right,
thing. And that to me, again, like you were just saying, John, about there is no new musical idea. I don't care what genre you're in. Our brains are always going to point to this. Well, somebody else must have done that. Or I'm going to immediately compare this to that because I hear
right,
a nugget of something you did that's a reminder of X from our
right,
generation of listening to music. Really hard to find something new. Super easy to go back to the old thing and go, well, that's why it's so good from
right.
1978 or 1963 when they knew how to make music.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
right.
we're doing things. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
The-
I'm studying, I'm listening. We're in class right now. Anytime you bring up anybody, so this is school.
well,
School
good
of
news. Uh, my Dictators connection, any knowledge of the Dictators really was the Twisted Sister connection.
Oh, yeah.
That Mark was in the Dictators and played with them, and that's a big New York scene too. That whole scene. My pick is not going to be so groundbreaking, but it's a super important album because it timestamps an era. It gives you a taste. If you're a modern music listener, you can listen to this record and you'll know what it was like to enjoy rock and roll music in the 1970s, especially in the live setting. You got to pick, you know what I'm picking, Scott? Live album from the 70s.
Humble Pie.
Ooh, nice. No, it's Aerosmith's Live Bootleg, an album I've brought
Oh
up a
yeah.
million times. It,
Yes.
it's a killer album. It
Yeah.
it's I'm of course like every 70s live album, I'm sure it's overdubbed. I'm sure shit. I bet, Dick
Yeah.
Wagner probably plays guitar somewhere on it or some studio cat, But it's important for 70s live rock for a couple reasons. Number one, all the tempos are easily 5 clicks up. So everyone's on coke. Everything's hauling ass, which is if you listen to old live Fleetwood Mac too, man. Listen to like even Dreams live. It's moving. They're always moving. The other important thing about live bootleg is the firecrackers, which was a thing in the 70s.
Yeah.
People would bring firecrackers and chuck them up, light them, and throw them at the stage. It happened all the time. People were getting hit with them. There's a lot of that like the start of Toys in the Attic on live bootleg. There's crack, 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 da, 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 and then they're playing the song,
Yeah.
And it's just, and the other cool thing about live bootleg, and I've talked this album into the ground, but the other thing is the couple club recordings. Now those aren't overdubbed. Those are in Boston, where they play like, they play Mother Popcorn from James Brown. They play, and you get a feel for just what Aerosmith sounded like in a room,
Yeah.
which is really hip and great feel. I love Joey Kramer, who isn't on the scene much anymore. That right now, I was listening to live bootleg again because the Joe Perry project is out on the road right now, and it's kick ass, man. It's kick ass. It's really good. Joe Perry's playing great. Brad Whitford's there, who I love. Brad Whitford, of course. Chris Robinson is singing in the Joe Perry project, and it sounds awesome. So yeah, Aerosmith's Live Bootleg was my rock pick.
Fantastic.
All right, Michael, what's your pop album? What's a pop album you're into?
Well, honestly, I had 3 or 4 that got benched after I picked this one. So this is like I have all these runners up when I went through these categories, and they're all great. But this for me current. So I went with my current thing. I went, okay, I'm not going to go backwards. I'm going to get to right now, whatever gets put on when I want to feel that feeling, and it's pop music, but it's not pop. It's not happy pop all the time, but it is pop, and she is in a pop category, and she and her brother are all the way referencing pop music constantly, even though it's very dark, but it's also hilarious, the humor, which is Billie Eilish. And I picked Billie's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And it's got the song Zanny on it, and it's got Bad Guy on it. It's got a song that was in I think it was True Detective, which is probably what threw them through the roof with it, because once you get a song and some kind of feature that blows your whole category of people listening to it, because they go, what's that song? And it's hilarious. What reminded me of it as I was watching a quick clip short of Maynard talking about discovering Billie Eilish through his kids, because he doesn't listen to new music. And I'm definitely of that generation. And he's like walking through the room, and he hears the song in the background as he's binging this series, and goes, what the hell is that? What is that? And his kids are like, oh, Dad, so stupid. That's Billie Eilish, blah, blah, blah. So he goes, Billie who? And he puts it on. And that's the same thing that happened to me. That came up in my feed on Spotify, and my kids were in the back seat, and they were like, you don't know who that is? And I'm like, oh.
Right.
I'm like, all right, no, I mean, clearly I don't know who that is. So I've listened to that record constantly, and she's so funny, and she's so dark and twisted at the same time, but it's very much her brother's knowledge of creating a soundscape that hooks you. Because to me, pop is hook. Every single thing has to be a hook. It can't just be the lyric. It can't just be the melody or the look of the person or the character that Billie is. It has to be also every little thing that happens in the background is a hook, and you just keep getting candy, 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 candy every single second, every song, and it's like you're just bludgeoned with it. So I love it.
God, kids in my school love her. Yep, kids in my school love her so much.
And people hate her. So a lot of people just can't stand her. Older people don't like the way she sings and this and that. And I'm like, you try to do that as a singer. I'm like, good luck. You have no idea what she's doing skill wise is like just because she's not belting all the time. You try
Right.
and do and navigate some of the corners she navigates. You can't even imagine the skill level it takes to do what she does vocally. It's wild. It's out of control. So
Killer.
that's my pop pick.
Wow, good one. Really good. What do you got, Scott?
I have the self-titled album from Youngblood.
All over right now. I again, I like I
Yep.
said, I'm not super hip. Wasn't super hip until the Sabbath stuff and all of that. That whatever that single a couple weeks ago. Remember, I was all pumped up about his single.
Yeah,
The
Idols.
Nope, it was an older song. Oh god dang it.
Um,
I wake up and I feel like shit. That tune.
oh, that one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's that called? I don't remember.
Anyhow, it's the one that
This one starts off with a song called Dancing at My Funeral, which is a great. It's just he's mixes power pop and metal sometimes and R&B. It's I don't know. I find his stuff super fun and yeah, but I love, it's like I love Andrew Combe or not Andrew Combe, Andrew McMahon
Hmm,
and that type of stuff. So it's like a rocked up version of Andrew McMahon.
okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the Sabbath thing that kind of got him
Yeah,
put
when he
that on my
does
radar.
changes.
Put that on my radar, and then you
The new
see him
song
with
he does with Aerosmith is cool too.
yeah, yeah. People are again. I mean, every once in a while, one of these new artists kind of wins the hearts of the old guard. You know,
Yeah,
I remember when it was, and it still is a little bit, but I remember when it was like Luke Spiller from oh god,
from the Struts.
from the Struts, right?
Yep.
When the Struts really had it. Um, it was also, when it happens in all genres. Right now, it's Billy Strings in that bluegrass genre where all those country and bluegrass people are kind of around. It's someone who excites that guard, and
Yep.
I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm not taking anything away from Youngblood or anyone else. There's also a little bit of the, hey man, I can hitch, I can associate myself with this new artist. My catalog's gonna feel a tick, and it did. Sabbath, it certainly happened with Sabbath. You got young people turned on to it. It'll happen with Aerosmith. You'll get that uptick in sales because you're on the minds of the new record buying populace. Because the 1970s, typically, and I'll put myself in here, like a 70s Aerosmith person probably isn't going to run out to get Youngblood and Steven Tyler's single, right?
Right.
But I know about Youngblood because of that Black Sabbath thing. So, it all it does work, and it exposes old crusty fuckers like me to music that maybe they would miss,
Yeah.
But I think it's because you don't digest music the way the new generation does, and we're never going to, and that's because we're in habits. It's old habits die hard. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's why kids are now like, dude, you just consume in a different way than we do, and that's always the way it's going to be. And in about 20 years, the next generation is going to consume in a way
Right.
we can't even conceive of. So I mean, human consumption of art is this revolving, evolving, ridiculously misunderstood and never pinned down concept, because like you were joking at the beginning, tape to digital making records, purists versus now vinyl is the purist, and somehow streaming is out. I mean, it's like, who can pin that I don't have time for that shit. I'm just like,
Well,
my brain, like, I just don't. And so
right.
unless you hand it to me and put it on my desk, like you said, I'm not going out looking for it.
Yeah.
I don't have the bandwidth to spend the time, where kids now are like, I'm consuming 5 seconds at a time. Like, I am trying to convince my kids to listen to a whole song. Like,
Oh
when you
yeah.
stop
Right.
skipping the song, you didn't even
Right.
finish the song. I mean,
Right.
we're like, how do you know you don't like it? You just like 3 seconds and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. I'm always I will say, you know what, my 17-year-old, 18 in a few weeks, his thing right now is CDs. He's got a CD player in his old truck, and
Right.
he's starting to grab CDs from the basement, piles of CDs. And I go,
Right.
dude, why? Like, what are you doing? Like, you have Spotify, you have a Bluetooth thing in your truck. He goes, but I like to hear the whole album. You know, he's like, I want
Right.
to put it in. And so he's kind
Yeah.
of, that's for him, you know, is how he's doing it now, which is a throwback, right? CDs in your truck. I mean, come on.
Yep.
But it all kind of, I also remember distinctly, I mean, and we're of the age to remember, like, why am I going to get rid of my 8 tracks? Why would I ever do that? Like and the only appeal of the cassette to me was it was smaller. I felt like I could carry more of them in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
holder, you know? So, God, that was a fucking moment of old peopleness, wasn't it? God damn. So that's really terrible, right? I mean,
It's
that's
great.
terrible,
It's not terrible.
but I can't
Yeah.
help myself, man. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. I mean, I hate to say
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it is good. It is good to see someone like my son um consume whole albums, you know,
Yep.
to listen to
Yeah.
whole
Yep.
albums. So that's pretty cool. All right. Well, my power pop pick, and mine is a power pop pick, is to me, probably one of the premier power pop bands of all time. Scott, what do I got? Any idea?
Cheap Trick.
Oh, very close. Without this band, there'd be no Cheap Trick.
Big Star.
Oh.
Big Star's #1 record is my pick. Yes.
Oh,
It's again, I was kind of talking not too long ago about the fact that there are certain songs that I've been playing long enough where I've watched people not know them at all, and then I played the same people so often that then they start to know them, then they maybe have bought it and now they're fans. I watched it happen with, like, you know, covering I don't know, you know, probably something like Outfit back in the day, and
yeah.
saying it was the Truckers and Jason Isbell, and then Jason Isbell took off. Big Star, that #1 record is it's everything.
Masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece. It's I to this day, and I'm sitting here looking at all this recording stuff. You know, they recorded all that stuff at Stax, you know, and down in Memphis.
Memphis.
And I still don't know how that vocals, how they get that vocal sound. I to this second, it's not a preamp thing. It's like a double track vocal thing. It's beautiful. I mean, and it was, again, I got hip to Big Star through the Replacement song, Alex Chilton, but the Bangles were covering Big Star. The Bangles back in the 80s were playing, you know, September Girls.
Yep.
And then Cheap Trick, of course, covered the In the Streets for that 70s show theme. And it's just brilliant. The guitar work is, no one ever talks about the guitars. You know, Chris Bell,
Chris Bell.
Alex Chilton. Nobody talks about that. You know, Jody Stevens is a amazing drummer, still playing, you know, still out playing. And yeah, Big Star is always going to be my power pop pick. So what's your country pick, Michael?
Country, this is going to be borderline, and you guys might tell me it's not quite, but I would go to the mat for this being a country record, and it's just acoustic guitar and vocals. And in 2015, I saw Gillian Welch and Dave, her husband, on stage at the Calvin Fine Arts Center do
Oh,
this
yeah.
record. They were on tour for this record specifically. It was the first thing they had done in a long time together, because she had gotten a lot of notoriety through doing a song, and that ended up on the Brother, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack, and she started to get a little more well known. And then they did this record called The Harrow and the Harvest, and it's literally, it is a country record. People are like, she's
Yeah.
folk, and I'm like, no, she's not. She is, but she's not. This girl's from the South, and if you listen to her singing and what she's talking about and how she's laying out these arrangements on her originals, and she does one or two, might be two covers on this, and one of them's a traditional country song, and it's like, this girl is a country singer, and she knows it back. I mean, she is like, the twang in her voice, her guitar playing, and then of course Dave starts playing, and it's just like, I just want to throw my acoustic guitar in the garbage when I listen to him play. He's so unbelievable with his runs, his bluegrass and country runs that he does, and he's singing the backups live, watching him do that. And then he throws on a harp and does that at the same time over his neck, plus plays guitar and sings the backup. And you're like, yep, those are people who studied and know it so well. They just never miss a beat. And I watched them. They did 20 songs, back to back live, stood up there and just killed it in front of those microphones.
Man.
And I was like, I'm buying that record. There's no question. And I've worn it out I mean, I listened to it so much, and I was thinking about in my runner up was like almost edging this out, but every time I listened to it the last month, I was like, no, that's my pick if I go to it. And it's such a sad. There are some sad country points in this, like sad country songs that are just like I'm literally crying while I'm listening to. I'm like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
Man.
god, it's so sad. You know, just like gets me right to the heart. That's what I want something to do to me if I'm going to be, listening to Roots music. I want to just be pulled into a space where I'm just like I feel transported, and they do that on this record. It's from the first note. So
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's, I'm trying to think of, I believe I got like a promo copy of Revival.
mm,
So that's when I kind of got in before Revival came out. I mean,
such a great record.
of course, in Dutch Henry, we were humongous fans. Um,
Yep.
and I mean, the unsung hero, and I mean, you forget until you watch them play. She's an amazing player too. And no, she's not David Rawlings, but she's the reason David Rawlings can be David Rawlings.
Yeah.
Right? He's never, I mean, that dude he's like Greg Miller in the sense of he's never he's not playing cowboy chords ever, right? Everything's inverted, everything's something over something.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I actually saw an interview with him where he read a review of one of her albums, and somebody said, I can't believe the producer of this record let David Rawlings play out of tune. And he wasn't out of tune at all. He wasn't out of tune at all. He was playing like, this weird inversion. So the root note wasn't,
Yep.
wasn't the one. And
Yep.
he even laughed. He's like, God, he goes, to me, that just sounds beautiful. That's beautiful
Right. Yep.
voicings
Yep.
to this,
Yep.
average listener. It sounded out of tune. That's how.
Yeah, because he bends. He does bends and things that you leave you going, I'm not even sure how he technically made that happen.
Dude,
How did he contort his hand into that position to make that note bend in the middle of that run and then
so
back
cool.
down to and then
Yep.
don't forget he's singing that back up right there at the same time.
Yeah. Killer. What a great
Son
pick.
of a
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. What's
Yeah.
your country pick, Scott?
It is Dwight Yoakam, Buenos Noches from a
From a
Lonely
lonely
Room.
room. Everything's great. Everything there's great.
Nice.
Dwight's great. Pete's great. Everything. I mean, dude, I just rewatched I mean, when he does stuff like I Sang Dixie.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Plus Pete Anderson. I mean, I can put my hands on 3 things I own right now because of Pete Anderson. Like that was as game changing as anything. And
Right.
I can remember like thinking how brilliant the guitars were. Like they sounded so good, and there was just nothing there. It was a guitar and a great amp, and that's
Yeah.
Pete Anderson. Yeah, and I'm not even talking like his jazzy stuff, the stuff he does solo.
Right. Yeah.
I'll never I'll never love Dwight Yoakam the same. And I mean, I've loved Eddie Perez. I've loved tons of Dwight's guitar players. Never will there be anyone but Pete for me with Dwight
Exactly.
Yoakam. What a great actor and a great artist, and a traditionalist. We owe him. We owe Dwight Yoakam, a handful of those people during the great credibility scare in Nashville.
Yeah.
We owe for even being able for artists that have careers right now. And I'll go to Sturgill Simpson and guys like they wouldn't even have a chance right now
He
without
seems
those
like
guys.
he'd be cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A good hang for
Yeah.
sure. My country album is called The Truckin' Sessions, and it's by Dale Watson. And do you know Dale Watson?
I do.
Well, he's, Texas dude, traditional.
Yeah.
Every bit of Buck Owens, every bit of that old Dave Dudley stuff. He does. I mean, this whole album of trucking songs, right? I mean, if I were a trucking man's on there, good luck and good trucking tonight. I mean, that's
Truck driving man. Does he do that
it's
one
all. It's not on the trucking sessions. I don't think I could go pull the disc, but yeah, I got into Dale Watson from an Austin City Limits, and it was like Dale Watson, the old 97s, and someone else.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. And he's
Ray
been at the
Benson or
tip. He's
something.
played at Tip Top before. He is a legend in country music, really, in that, the same way that Robbie Fulks is, those kind of
Yep.
traditionalists who, yeah. So Dale Watts's Trucking Sessions, for no other reason than that in that song, If I Were a Trucking Man, he says, if I were a trucking man, I'd be a gear jammer with a one-armed tan, spend my nights in the roadhouse, days on the lost highway. I mean, that's every country thing you'd ever need in one line of one song. So, all right, moving on. Now I feel like this is Michael's gonna have some insight to this, because I feel like this is a genre that you're intimate with, Michael. I may be wrong, but the blues.
Well, which one?
Well,
I'm not gonna go. I'm
I,
not gonna go blues. I'm gonna
I
shock you.
I thought you would have some obscure blues shit that.
I would. But here's my thing. I like the music that I play is not the music that I go home and listen to. Like I
Right.
love blues music, and I started with, I started playing slide guitar because of listening to Book of White and Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters and Elmore James and all these things, right? And then that made me want to play blues music, and I get off on this tangent, and then I get tired of what I'm doing, and when I go home, I want to put something else on. So I went R&B,
Oh, what do you got?
and she is through and through R&B, and she is a newer artist, and her name's Leanne LaHavis. And I saw her live open up for Leon Bridges when Leon Bridges was touring for his
Oh,
second record. And so I'm there to see Leon in Detroit, and at the whatever the theater is there, I can't remember. And out comes Leanne with her band, and she's playing this hollow body electric guitar, and she's singing, and she's got a backup singer and keys player and drummer and bass player, and she blows my head off. I'm kind of like, well, I'm good. We can go. I don't really need to see Leon now. I honestly, I think he came out, and I love Leon Bridges, and I love everything he does because he is a smooth singer. He's an incredible songwriter.
yeah.
He came out, I think, a little. How loud they were cheering for Leanne after she was done it for an opening band. That's problematic. I mean, you got to follow that up. I mean,
Right.
her trills, her ability to float vocally, her ability to perform, and she's also playing guitar at the same time and writing all this stuff. I mean, she's throwback to original R&B, but it's not a male, it's a female. It's a female writing all the songs and playing the guitar and leading the band. And you're out there going, what is happening right now? Who is this person and how is it possible? Well, years in the next 2 years, she becomes a favorite of Prince before he passes away.
Oh, wow.
She becomes a favorite of bands like Coldplay. She becomes a favorite of, and now everybody wants to know and talk about, she's only done 4 records, and she hasn't done one. Her last one was during COVID 2020. She hasn't done another one. She takes a lot of time in between records. She does it right. She's a craftsman, absolutely through and through, making sure every detail is taken care of, production wise and vocally and all that. The record I chose is her second record called Blood. It's out of control, first note to last note. She's unbelievable. Beautiful voice, beautiful storytelling. Nothing left, you know, untouched. She goes to every corner of every song and makes sure that you're enjoying all the moments between the music and the lyrics and the melodies and just the whole thing. It's to me. So I hope you guys check it out and like it. I'm throwing some things that I definitely want people to know about,
Yeah.
listeners to know about, and
Love
you
it.
guys to know about, because to me,
For sure.
What's the name again, Michael?
so her name is Leanne LaHavis, and
Okay.
she's actually Jamaican, and half her dad was Greek, and her mother was Jamaican, and she's got this
Okay.
crazy sort of ethnic styling background that she brings in all the music as well. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So the record's
Nice.
called Blood.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I got it written
Yeah.
down. What do you got, Scott?
Mine is a 70s fusion record, and I'm usually not a fusion guy, but it is Tom Scott and the LA Express.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's a name that's familiar.
It's R&B, jazz, rock and roll, funk. It's so much fun. Just a great record.
I I think about fusion, and me, that's not my ride at all. But
It's not really mine either.
And it's, you know, like I asked, there are jazz cats who are fusion people, and then there are jazz cats who aren't fusion people, right?
Yeah.
And now you'll be so proud of me. It was yesterday, as a matter of fact. I even sent Quinn a message, and I should have sent you one. I was on my way back from, I had a like an hour drive, 2 hour drive, but I listened to Art Blakey's Moaning
Oh,
because Quinn's into it,
That's
you
a
know,
good
and
one.
you're into it. And
oh man. I listened to
fun.
it yesterday too.
So it's funny. And I'm sure Michael, you do this too. Anytime I hear something cool on an instrument, I don't care what instrument it is, my first thought is, how can I do that on guitar? Like, how can I take
Yeah.
that line onto guitar? So
Yep.
that was all day yesterday, was working out one. And I bet there were, well, let me think. There were probably, I don't know, 8 notes in this run. And that's all I spent yesterday doing, was trying to recreate
Yep.
it on a guitar. And then what I usually do is, you know, then I take it in, and then it becomes, I depending on what I'm playing it on, it either becomes like a metal riff or right. But
Yeah.
it's got, I kind of wove it into this little country thing. But it was just cool that genre I'm finally starting to get ability to listen to. And the only reason I'm telling you, and I wish someone would back me on this, maybe someone who worked in an instrument store back in the day will back me. It was just every dick who came in and talked about, you know, dude come in and instantly it'd be some obscure jazz stuff that he was totally into. It's all he listened to. And you'd be like, hey man, did you hear Michael Jackson's Thriller? No, I've never heard anything off that, man. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I only, I only listen to this, obscure jazz person that plays this club in my neighborhood, and has never
Purist.
released it. And
Purist.
it's like,
Yeah.
I get it. It
Yeah.
happened with the blues too. It
Yeah.
happens with metal. Metal dudes will
Yeah.
be, the super metal cat will be like, I can't
Yeah.
believe you're listening to such pop music as Slayer. That's
Yeah.
so poppy. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, dude.
Yeah. Too mainstream. Too
Yeah, it's
mainstream.
too mainstream, man.
Well, I think, for me, it's like what's weird about being a songwriter and a music lover and listener, and this might be the same thing for you, as I've just been very careful not to overindulge in anything for fear of, and this is a conversation I always have, for fear of being integrated into something accidentally. And
Yes.
so nods are cool, but unintentional subconscious nods suck, because then you go, what is that? I love it so much. And then guitar player X comes into the room and goes, oh yeah, that's da 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 da.
Right.
And I go, shoot, I can't use that. But where, like you're saying, you're seeking out things that are a little more obscure, like you're putting yourself as a musician in a position to listen to things you wouldn't normally, and then you're grabbing something melodic out of it, turning it into something else, and going,
Yeah, I mean,
even
that
if you don't
almost
put it
sounds
in a
too
song.
important. That sounds too
No,
important for what I do. I
no,
literally
but what
sat on
I'm
the couch
saying,
with an Ibanez 550 and was like, I wonder what those 3 lines were or whatever. But I get what it
but it's
is
the
like that.
wondering, is what I'm saying. The wondering is
Yeah.
the point of not
Oh,
restricting yourself to saying, I only listen to
right.
this really elite jazz thing. No, music, like, broaden, because Michael Jackson is freaking awesome, and you
Right.
should know that all these things are cool equally in their own way. Whereas I had a bass player friend years ago tell me, I took the stereo out of my vehicle because I don't want to be, I don't listen to music. So I don't want to be infected so that I can write the most pure. And I went, what?
Yeah.
Come
I'm
on,
never doing that.
dude.
I'm never
You're
doing that.
robbing yourself
Never.
of the joy of listening. So I
Well,
just
Yeah.
anyway.
as if you're
Yeah.
gonna on some instrument, that's been around since the dawn of time, you're gonna suddenly be the guy who goes, "Ooh, here's what no one has ever thought to do." Right.
No one ever. Yeah.
You know who helped me with that, Scott? Really, was the Gaslight Anthem. As I look at your
Yeah.
shirt, remember me sending you that message and go, Jesus Christ, they take whole lines out of songs.
Yes.
Mhm.
And as you're sitting, and Michael, you're trying to come up with a line that isn't full of cliches and doesn't say. Those
Yeah.
guys will use a whole Springsteen line, or they'll reference it in a song, like
Right.
talk about someone singing, and then they'll sing the whole line, and it's killer.
Right.
And that, I found that at first it annoyed me. I thought, man, that's
Yeah.
lazy. I did. I thought it was lazy, and I may have
Yeah.
said that to you, Scott. Like, Jesus,
Yeah,
these guys.
the one I'm thinking of is where he says, wake up at night with the sheets soaking wet. That's a pretty
Right.
good song, baby. You know the rest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well,
in High Lonesome.
Yes, it
but
is.
I think if it's intentional in that way that you're playing with it and it's part of the storytelling and you're making I mean, I don't like, I guess it's subjective. If you're listening to it and it doesn't completely grate on you, then and it gets you to a place where you enjoyed it, then fucking A. You did
Right.
great. It worked. You know? It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't know, you know. So
All
yeah.
right. So where we were now, we're moving on to, oh, my pick. Jeez, I
Your
forgot my
pick.
pick.
Your
Yeah.
pick.
This is my,
Your
I
R&B
picked
or
a
blues or
I picked a blues album. I
cool.
guess it's a blues album. I'm not a blues man, although I mean I have enough history in it to where I certainly have spent some time with some blues music. But this album was I can say a recent, within the last whatever it's been, I'll say 15 years or what, a game changer for me. It changed how I listened to blues music. It changed what I wanted from blues music. It was and I knew, the funny thing is I knew the producer of this album way more, way earlier, before I knew the band, before I knew anything. And it's Shake Hands with Shorty by the North Mississippi All Stars.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And it's, as a lover and an NMD guy, of course, I knew Jim Dickinson's name from when I was from the probably the early 80s. Like, I knew he'd done stuff with the Stones. He was producing the Replacements. He
Yeah.
was on the scene. You couldn't have told me he had kids who played or any of that. I didn't know any of that. And then it was when Luther Dickinson got in the Black Crowes. And of course, anyone in the Black Crowes who's not Mark Ford, there's a vetting process if I can let you in or
Yeah.
not.
Says everybody too about Mark.
That
Yeah.
includes Jeff Cease too. And I love Jeff Cease,
It's hard.
but
Yeah.
man, Mark Ford, come on. I just saw Mark Ford 2 days ago on a video playing with Lucinda Williams, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But so here's this new guy in the Black Crowes. It's Luther. I start watching interviews with him. I gotta suss this guy out. And the interviews he's great, right? He's just a great laid back, cool guy. Great interview where he's in a van, like outside a gig, and Grace Potter walks up. He's like, "Oh, there's Grace Potter." And she comes up to the van and talks to Luther. But Shake Hands with Shorty it's got traditional stuff on it. Poe Black Maddie's on it.
Yep.
Shake 'em on down. These are standards, man, for years and years and
Yeah.
years. And it's just the way he plays. It's the way Luther plays. That the trio of Luther and Cody, um, and Big Chris, the bass player. Um, that's a cool band, and that's Delta blues for the modern times, I think. So yeah,
Yep.
North Mississippi All Stars, love them. We
Sweet.
are on to our final, our NMD pick, and this is something you particularly love that maybe is a little under the radar, or maybe it's way off the radar. What's your pick, Michael?
Way, the UK artist who started as a DJ and trance music DJ, so raves and all this stuff when he's younger. And then all of a sudden he picks up an acoustic guitar and realizes he's got a voice and he wants to make music. And then this is a Spotify referral to me too. I listened to one thing and then it went, check this guy out. And he goes by the name Fink, Fink.
Hmm.
And the record is called Perfect Darkness. And he is an incredible, so then he integrates all his beats and his grooves and his loops into this beautiful soundscape of acoustic vocals and singer songwriter type stuff. These, 3 minute, 4 minute, amazingly written, arranged, just, I mean, moody, but also brings in a lot of blues and brings in a lot of folk music and brings in all the genres he's played in. Each record is different. That's what I like about him. He doesn't stick to one format. So the next record might be very jazz based, or the next one might be very beats, all about beats and loops and related to. And then he'll bring in guest singers from markets of music that I've never heard of, and I go, well, who's that? And so a lot of doorways. I mean, I consider him a doorway musician in the way that I'm not only listening to him, but I'm going, well, who the heck is that he brought on
Yep.
that
Right.
song? And now I'm going to go and see who that is and find out what they've got. So to me, I've just been very appreciative of the fact that I've gotten sort of tipped off to these few people that have linked me to like maybe 4 or 5 other musicians I've never heard about through their music, and
Love it when
going,
that happens.
I just feel filled up. I feel less inclined to put the old stuff on that I always do. I mean, I've gotten a little bored with the putting the same thing on over and over again, and to find this much new in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years has sort of put me back in a place where I've been excited about music again. And this dude, he's out of control, and he's still making music, and he just put it on another record, last year, and just a phenomenal, honest, true, real gritty, out there doing his thing, not caring what anybody thinks about what his songwriting is going to be, because there's a lot of pop sensibility, but it's not intentionally pop. He's not doing it because he thinks he's going to score a big hit. He's from the UK. He's probably well known in smaller circles there to a certain
Right.
point, but it's not like he's going to be a international phenomenon. He's just doing what he
Right.
does. So I think, again, I think you guys check it out. It might not be your cup of tea, but in terms of artistic value, I think you'd find one or two songs that you go, dang, what is that guy doing? And how the hell did he come up with that? Maybe it's
Cool.
not brand new, and it definitely nods to things, but it's definitely a new take on things that, he's definitely got his own sound. It's
Killer.
unmistakable. So,
Killer.
Sweet.
yeah.
All right, Scott, what do you have?
Through the Heart of the Mountain, the new Ben Nichols.
Oh, how is that?
Dude, it's like folky. It's way away from Lucero. It's not rocking like Lucero. It's folky, country,
Cool.
personal songs about family and stuff like that. It's a just amazing record.
Again, there's an artist that I love.
Yeah.
Boy, do people there's a polarizing guy. People either love him or he's got the worst voice on the planet.
That voice.
Right.
You either love it and I gotta admit, man, again, Michael was talking about Spotify and if you like this and you blah, 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 and being new to Spotify. Same deal for me. And please no, I'm not like, I don't listen to Spotify because they don't pay artists enough money. The tough shit, I guess. You know who never paid artists? Me and my buddies. Well, we were like, hey man, will you tape me your copy of fucking Screaming for Vengeance, and I'll tape you my copy, right? So
Amen.
I can't pretend I'm so pompous that I'm out here, protecting the artist's rights. Literally,
Yeah.
I would record shit off the radio.
We all did it.
Right. But it was coming home and listen, my new Spotify that my son finally talked me into listening to that. and it was the only one by Lucero. Like I tell the story all the time. It was that song. By the time I got home from the gig and was sitting in the garage kind of decompressing, by morning I'd been up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. No shit. And that's amazing for me. And by morning I had like 3 Lucero albums that I had downloaded. And then I went in my closet up in the office and I'm digging through, because people, especially if you work in a music store, like either CDs or instruments, especially instrumental store, people want to give you hey man, here's some songs of mine, right? So I got a lot of those in a big pile. But sure enough, in someone's markered writing was Lucero that I had put in the pile and was going to get to, but I owed Spotify for this new band I love. And I love Ben Nichols' voice.
Him from the dude who ran Jukes.
Oh yeah, I just saw him. He was just at Miller and I just played less than a month ago. He was there.
I can't remember his name.
Dave.
Yes. He got me into Lucero.
Yes. Yep. He was just at our gig, dude. And he comes all the time. And we talk about the old days of playing Jukes and falling down.
Black Mackenzie used to play there quite a bit.
That was a fun place to play. It was a great place.
That was the only place that would let us play.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We certainly I put some good Jukes nights in, and I also played one of the best Jukes nights was finishing up, drunk as I could be, and going over to hear, because Pete Dunning had a band. Like, let's go listen to Pete Dunning's band, and it was White Rabbit.
What band was that?
And they were fucking tearing it up, dude. White Rabbit was tearing it up. It was White Rabbit.
Oh, that was White Rabbit before you joined. Yeah,
I had. So Pete, when Pete was in Muskegon, I had met him through the music store, and he was, was starting to come in, and then we were starting to go to the bar after I got out of work. Like we'd go meet for a beer, and it'd be like, all right, you guys got to go. And we would just sit there and talk about, I don't know, being in the fucking Rolling Stones. I don't know what we were talking about, but he had this cover band, And I'm like, yeah, we'll go. I'm drunk and I'll go across the street and watch them, whatever that bar across the street. Fuck, dude, it was awesome. They were loud, 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 loud. It was killer. Yeah. So that was my Jukes experience for sure. I have others, but I can't talk about them here.
Oh man.
All right. So am I on my NMD pick or yes?
Yeah.
Yes. God, man, we are side street. This was tough for me today. I don't know why. I picked an album. Have you guys ever heard of a band called the Blood Oranges?
No.
Okay. So Mark Spencer was a guitar player in a band called the Blood Oranges. And Scott, I guarantee you know Mark Spencer because he was out touring with Jay Farrar. He was the guy on guitar with Jay Farrar when Jay was doing his solo gigs.
Oh, the one we saw at the intersection.
The one we saw at the intersection. Yes, that was Mark Spencer. Well, he was in a band called the Blood Oranges. The singer was a lady named Sherry Knight. She released an album called The Northeast Kingdom.
Yes.
Dude.
The Twang Trust, right?
Yes, Ray Kennedy and Steve Earle. She was on E Squared, which was like Steve Earle had a label for a little while. They signed Six String Drag. Steve went out to hear Whiskey Town, Ryan Adams and Whiskey Town. Six String Drag was opening, and Steve Earle told Ray Kennedy, "Let some neurotic A&R chick sign Whiskey Town. I want to make a record with Six String Drag." But the Sherry Knight album is
hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, right. The Sherry Knight album, Northeast is so badass, dude. It's awesome. She sings great. The songs are great. The guitar playing's amazing. The production, it's, Ray Kennedy. Before Ray Kennedy lives in that same place for me as like Eric Ambel as a producer, those real those fame name. And the guy right now who's kind of taken that over would be like Dave Cobb. You see Dave Cobb's name on everything, producing everything.
Yep.
Because of his success with like Jason Isbell and some of those artists. As a matter of fact, I think Dave Cobb's got his hand in some Sturgill Simpson stuff too.
Shooter Jennings now too.
But if you listen to it's as good of an album as can be. There's great, I noodle, I play lap steel a little bit. There's some great lap steel parts. Again, Mark Spencer on that. But yeah, check out the Northeast Kingdom by Sherry Knight. Some great song. Black Eyed Susie's a great song on there, kind of a turn on the flower and the story you can imagine. But yeah, that was my NMD pick. And I think back to my story about Spotify, I believe my copy of that album, although it has a cover, it's a Xeroxed cover and a burned CD.
Yeah.
So don't,
pirating before pirating was cool, man.
Don't let me pretend. Yeah. Well, I had a friend. I still have a friend, my buddy Lou. He was great for he's the guy who turned me on to Six String Drag. But he was great for burning you a CD because he put the effort. He'd Xerox the cover for you, scan it and print it. Yeah. So you'd have a cover, which was badass. Yeah.
It's next level.
Next level stealing. Well, that wraps up a great round, by the way, Michael. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got like 4 or 5 albums.
I know. Down. I've got all the witches written down. I'm excited. I'm really, and I wrote out. It's Leanne. I've written it
phonetically. LAHAVAS.
Oh, that's pretty damn close.
Yeah, I mean,
so thank you for that.
You put it in the Google, the AI will fix the rest.
It'll pop up. Right? So before we let you go, Michael, since you guys are brought up so often on the show, what's going on with Barrel Bones? How you guys doing? You're recording, wrapping up. What's going on?
Yeah, recording as of Friday this week. Done. Main tracking finished on the record. Thank God. So we're into mixing, and it was kind of nice to just finally put a bow on that and move forward. So mixing has begun, and hopefully, I'd like to say we'll release it before the end of the year, but mixing is always sort of, now we're going to get in the trench and beat the hell out of each other on the mixes. So do
you guys all go to the mix? You all sit in on a mix?
No, God, no, we'd never. We'd never get the record. You would never see a record.
I gave up on.
I
gave up on that shit a long time ago.
And here's why. And to be honest with you, because our 5th member is Joel Ferguson. I mean, we trust him so much. He engineers, and we kind of have always trusted him to, you know,
Sure.
he engineers, produces, and mixes with and for us. So he'll do a giant first pass with the knowledge base of what we already sort of wanted to go for, which is never anything that crazy anyway. We're just looking for an honest representation of what we sound like because we're just a meat and potatoes rock band. So we don't really push him too hard on anything. He does a first giant rough pass of the whole thing, and then we'll start picking it apart and saying, you know, a little bit, but we do a lot of noting, you know, through, you know, listening through to mixes at home, and
Hmm.
everyone will make their
Yep.
giant note list and submit the list and, you know, shoot each other down or agree. And then from there, we'll get through a second pass. It usually doesn't take much more than a second full pass on all the songs, which is nice. But there's a lot of deliberation, and this record in particular this time around was a lot more democratic as opposed to the first two. So it was a lot. That's why it took it 2.5 years almost. It was more, hey, I want everybody to write. I'm not gonna bring in, you know, 11 full songs and say do this, play that, which is typically what I do, and it's been way more fruitful. I'm way. It was excruciating for me to let go of the reins, but it was absolutely well worth it because
Yeah.
I wanted them all to get into it, and having Joel Heinlein, the bass player, step back in, and having a new bass player, having him have an opportunity to write and be part of that process, and Pete bring his own songs and Greg bring his own songs and try to work them all out. That was a way more fruitful, but it was a lot. We found obviously it takes a lot more time. So we just appreciate fans being patient. If you know, if we do have any left after that much of a drought of not being out there, we'll just find out. But it's definitely going to be excited to have that out. So it's
Yeah,
11
cool.
new songs, and then we've got a show coming up in February at the Stray. But it's going to be
Cool.
we're doing acoustic versions of our songs right now for some of these smaller shows, so we can get into some different venues. So we'll be
You
at the
guys
Stray.
do that well too. That's a
What do
good
we
Yeah.
do? Say
setting
the
for
Love
you
that.
guys.
6th? No, the 7th. February 7th, I think it is.
Cool.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, and we're opening for the Blue Pines
Hmm.
there.
Oh,
So that'll be.
nice.
Yep. So
Cool.
Tyler and yeah.
Well, keep us in the loop, and we are always here singing the praises. That's for sure. Michael, thank you for doing
We
this with us,
appreciate it.
dude. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you
much for
guys.
coming today. Scotty,
Appreciate you both.
you got any parting words for us today, bud?
When you leave me, it breaks me like a bone, but it's never as bad as when you come home. I've thought so much about suicide. Parts of me have already died.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Michael. See you later, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
See you
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.
Michael. See you,
Have a good one.
everybody.